Hello and thanks for staying with us. The Nigerian Customs Service said that the VIN violation process will continue to improve the revenue generation of the Nigerian Customs Service. Also on Customs report, the ad hoc committee to investigate the alleged killing of some people by Nigerian Customs Service along the nation's borderline visited the siege of customs in Abuja. Plus, more report. I am Igeseme Idinye. Stay tuned. The Acting Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service says that the service under its control will always work with the community leaders in the border areas. He made a remark when the Senate committee, led by its chairman, Senator Adefadasi, paid him a courtesy visit in his office in Abuja. The Senate committee, set up by the 7-man committee, is to make sure that everybody involved in the issue is made to speak on issues involving the management of Nigerian Customs Service, alongside the killing within the border of the country. The CG has this to say.
Just around this time you visited, we had reports of some people within the Daura place who are smuggling who are smuggling beans across to the borders. The time you went there to Niger, we had very credible intelligence or incontrovertible evidence to show that they are taking it there. The time you visited, we had a situation with our neighbor. I was there before you visited, and I saw the situation. I sympathize with the communities. I sympathize with Nigerian business owners who have invested in those trucks. For us, it's not about revenue. And that was why I was telling you, distinguished chairman, that a number of things have changed. None of those trucks that you saw has any revenue implication. On their way out to Katsina or to Jibia or Ilela, there's no revenue involved. When they are coming in, there's no revenue involved. Because once it is ETLS, I'm not sure whether we have started doing it when you were around, sir.
ETLS has been established a long time ago.
Do you still remember ETLS, sir?
Yes.
So we don't charge duties on ETLS products.
There are some fees.
So if the fish is registered, duties is not collected on it. If the producers, if they are under ETLS program, they are not. So if we see a long truck, a long convoy of trucks and things like that, we need to understand the nature of the cargo inside. But for us, whether they are on ETLS or not, these are investments of Nigerians. Some of them are perishable. In fact, I had to give directive immediately when I visited there that they should not keep those trucks at the border areas. They can turn them back to Katsina and let the owners decide what they want to do with it so that they would not be wasted. Some of them in Ilela, we also got to understand that they might be vulnerable to bandit attacks or to theft. So we requested that the owners have the freedom that they can move those things away from the borders. This was 2-3 weeks ago. It is our hope that the issues around Nigeria and Niger will be resolved in good time so that the borders can once again become the subject of prosperity to our people. So we are not preparing differently for customs duty because those goods do not attract some of those things you saw from our side going to Niger. What you saw are things going out of the country. You didn't see anything coming in. Definitely. When we visited across the border, we saw some of their trucks. But there's no way in which we will know what are those things inside those trucks, whether they are things that are ETLS, whether they are things that are perishable, we don't know. But from our own side, we saw a lot of exports that are leaving Nigeria. And these are things that do not generate any revenue. It's just in continuation of our fulfillment. As regards the filling stations around those places, we have also made our own feelings known. Since the removal of subsidy, we believe that policy should be reviewed. But it goes beyond customs. there are some other authorities that are higher than us, and I hope that the National Assembly can interface with them. In terms of compensation, I just finished a meeting this afternoon, and the meeting was with our insurers, underwriters, and the brokers. We are looking at how best we can look at the issue of compensation, and I got a very, very good report from that meeting that henceforth, when our officers are involved in this kind of situation, they will be adequately compensated. Unfortunately, the voice that we could have to talk on their own behalf at the National Assembly are muted. And I wanted just to end with this story. Distinguished members of the Senate, between 2004 and 2007, the chairman of this committee had the privilege of serving as the main arrowhead of our anti-smuggling activities. During this period, smugglers met their Waterloo when they tried customs. He wasn't sparing to them. Shortly before then, the reputation he had earned him a national award of member of the Order of the Federal Republic. It was on account of his very, very bold and courageous anti-smuggling operations in the customs. And it earned us very good reputation, it earned us very good result, and like I said, it earned him a national honor. The legacy he left for us was that of non-compromise with smugglers. The legacy he left for us was that when we are confronted with situations that threaten our life, we should fight back. That is the legacy we inherited. That is the legacy that we have continued with. And we hope that there will be some kind of understanding such that what happened in the night of 29th November 2006 will not repeat itself. On that fateful day, a group of officers went on patrol in Western Marine. They were on the sea and they came across a smuggling vessel loaded with PMS around Badagry area. They intercepted them. The officers climbed inside the vessel. The attempt was to arrest these smugglers. And the smugglers, rather than submit themselves to arrest, they decided to blow up the vessel. And 9 of them paid the supreme sacrifice in the fight against smuggling. I imagine ACG Fadansi in that situation. He will die before they killed him. He will shoot them before they shoot. And it was because he was a very valiant officer. He was bold. He was courageous. He doesn't give an inch. And so this was the situation. So most of the time, when we are confronted with those kind of situations, we had only 2 options. We either allowed them to kill us, or sometimes we shoot our way to safety.
The chairman of the committee, who is also a retired Assistant Controller General of Customs, speaks on the committee.
You will tell us what happened, investigative activities to you, why we arrive at a conclusive and better solution to the problem.
The Nigerian Customs Service has told importers to be more transparent while declaring their cargo for clearance at the port. The Customs Area Controller in charge of PTLM Command urged importers of vehicles and their various agents to make sure that proper documentation of their consignment before presenting them for customs clearance.
To the circular we receive and the rumors going around that VIM valuation has been scrapped. I want to assure you that there is nothing like that. The circular that came out was just like a reminder to examination and valuation officers on ways they should perform their duty, they should continue to perform their duty effectively. It has nothing to do with what is going around, that the system has been scrapped. It's still fully operational, and we are up to it, and we are ensuring that the system works perfectly. VIM valuation, as you all know, was introduced over a year ago in order to harmonize, simplify, and standardize values of vehicles. And the bottom line of all that, we should all know, is in line with the Trade Facilitation Agreement, which Nigeria is a signatory to. But on top of it, on top of the standardization, the simplification, and harmonization of value is transparency. And over time, that issue of transparency, we are having challenges on it. Because the system demands that when you impute, when a declarant inputs his VIN number, certain details on the vehicle will come out. Right at the bottom of that page, there is a column for transaction value. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, many of the declarants are not adhering to that. They now go for the base values of some of these vehicles. And once you do that, you are calling for intervention. Because we know, as valuation officers, as examination officers, we have seen practically what your vehicle looks like. For instance, you have a Range Rover autobiography. All of us know the range, the value range of such vehicles. But since we have series of Range Rovers, some of you go for the least in the system.
Some of the agents present at the ceremony has this to say about the VIM violation in the country.
Aggregation. For example, Mercedes, their own aggregation is WDB, that is Wagen Daimler Benz. 1, 2, 3. They now give you the body. As it progresses in putting the numbers, it will be giving you the specification of that vehicle. But the information that we are being given here is as if that value is based on the trim. It's not only based on trim. As regards to the trims, I have the complete loader. I even had to print it. I gave it to my children. They printed it for me. I had to print 4 pages on one page to be able to accommodate it. However, 200 pages. They're in my car now. If you look at that place, all the trims are specified with their own prices. Most time when an importer asks me, what is value to this? If I ask them, send me the VIN, they will tell me, are you the only agent? Just give me the value. You see, this is where the problem is. What we are seeing now is Nigeria's factor, where everybody does not want to improve on the system and make it work.
The controller also warned that any consignment brought into the country without proper documentation will be seized by the customs.
While we were having the stakeholders meeting today, it was introduced based on the 4 pillars of Trade Facilitation Agreement, which are the transparency, we talk about harmonization, we talk about standardization and simplification of procedures. Now the VIM valuation has been able to standardize values within the command and across board. When you pick up vehicles, you now know precisely how and what to do on them.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Federal Operation Unit of Nigerian Customs Service Zone A has continued to seize goods worth millions of naira for smugglers operating along the nation's borderline. The acting controller who displays some seized consignment says that any smuggler caught will be made to face the law. The Federal Operation Unit Zone A has arrested 12 suspects in connection with smuggling of bags of rice, cannabis, codeine, valued at 830 million naira in the month of August alone. The acting controller said the unit made a total of 91 seizures within 1 month.
It is highly unpatriotic for someone to choose to pay duty of whatever he is importing to the other country there and refuse to pay to his own country. Customs, we have not killed anybody. I mentioned it and I say it out loudly. Whoever says customs within zone A, FOU, killed anybody within this zone, let the person come and show me the cops. We have not killed anybody. Rather, we are the ones that are being killed. This is 1, this is 2, and they are brand new. So now, ferrying abandoned seizures now wouldn't be a problem to us again. And we have a crane. It's at the other side, you will see it. Whereby, if we intercept any truck, maybe the driver run away or maybe there's mechanical fault, we can use that crane to tow it down here. And it's done.
The unit also intercepted 394 cartons of codeine and fairly used cars arrested along the nation's borderline. He urged members of the public to be guided by the import and export operation list as approved by government.
Continuation of our series of briefings aimed at updating you with the successes this unit had recorded in suppressing smuggling and preventing revenue loss within the southwest region. In demonstrating the commitment of the service towards safeguarding the nation's economy and recalcitrant saboteurs, officers and men of the unit have remained resolute in enforcing the customs extant laws. While enforcing these laws, dubious importers and traders were either made to pay the maximum duty payable through the issuance of demand notices or made to forfeit their goods to the federal government by way of seizing them. You may recall that foreign tomato paste, used clothing, foreign parboiled rice, importation of vehicles through the land borders, used tires, arms and ammunition without end-user certificates, among others, are items that fall under the import prohibition list. Their importation threatens our fragile economy. 91 seizures were recorded within the month of August, with 12 suspects in connection with some of the seizures. Worthy of note is the fact that apart from the cartons of codeine syrup we showcased during the last briefing, additional cartons of the product were again intercepted, making a total of 394 cartons seized within the period under review. Notable among other seizures are 6,911 by 50 kg bags of foreign parboiled rice, over 11 truckload of rice, 345 kilograms of Indian hemp.
He warned smugglers against killing of Nigerian customs officers' men in the jungle while doing their work. He urged them to look for another job. The Edo and Delta Command of Nigerian Customs Service has continued to preach to importers operating in the zone to always come forward and pay the right duty to government. The controller asked them to always pay the right duty to government so that government will be able to implement more measures to improve the workings and operation in the country.
New generation, accounting for sale, suppression of smuggling, trade facilitation, and implementation of government policies are the statutory functions and obligations of the service. The command has never relented in its strive to make sure it hits and surpasses its targets against all odds. Low draft and near collapse of the channel, low trading flux, swings in transaction rates, and unstable economic environment. However, the command has been able to make outstanding revenue input into the Federation account within the period under review, that is January to August 2023. This was made possible through leakage prevention, zero tolerance, zero compromise for duty evasion, and due diligence in this period of low volume of trade influx into the port, as well as the cooperation of our stakeholders. Revenue generation. For the period covering January to August 2023, in spite of the obvious challenges recorded in trade supply chain, occasioned by lull in port activities, the Edo Delta Area Command was able to generate a total revenue of 30,638,793,795 naira 75 kobo. That is 30.6 billion naira. And remitted same to the Federation and non-Federation accounts of the federal government. Additionally, excise duty also forms a very stable and very reliable part of our monthly annual revenue collection. The main areas of excise duty collection in the command as Guinness Nigerian PLC, Coca-Cola, and 7Up Bottling Company, and had altogether accounted for a total of 4,507,700,028 naira only. That's 4.5 billion. Now, when we do a side-by-side revenue comparison between the corresponding period last year, we discover that as at last year, this same time, we had collected 28.2 billion.
Recently, the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service paid a working visit to Benin Republic with some members of his management. While in Benin Republic, he visited some of the operators, telling them that Nigerian Customs Service in Nigeria will continue to improve the well-being and also promote trade relationship between the two countries.
In Brussels, at the World Customs Organization Conference, where my appointment was made, and one of the first people that came to me to congratulate me was the DG of Customs. And in his congratulatory message to me right there, he expressed willingness that we will be working together in the months ahead. And I told him, yes, we will be working together. And in the early days of my administration, I would want to pay a visit to your customs administration to demonstrate the fact that we want to renew friendship, we want to deepen the collaboration that is existing between us, and we want to find innovative solutions to the problems ahead of us. The two presidents, President Talon and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have shown the way, and that is the fact that priority would be given to relationship between us, economic relationship, trade, bilateral trade, and more importantly, the issue of border security along our common frontiers. We will be working together to achieve this mandate, but there's nothing we can do without you, our esteemed stakeholders. And this is why we have found it necessary that as we go along, as we engage with ourselves, as we reach understandings and agreements, we also want to carry you along because you are those who are going to be implementing. You are those who are going to benefit from these agreements when we work together. So I think we will have more opportunities to talk with ourselves. It is a better strategy for us to do more listening to you, our stakeholders, since we still have enough time to engage with ourselves as customs to customs. So it's therefore, once again, my sincere gratitude on behalf of my delegation to my brother, the DG, for the wonderful organization that they have put in place, bringing all these stakeholders in this platform together to welcome us and to participate in this interactive session.
He spoke. Just before I round up this week edition of the program Custom Support, we brought you a report where goods worth millions of naira was intercepted by some various commands in the country. For me, Igeseme Edinye, thanks for watching.